Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm reviewing a very interesting fragrance from the house of Frederic Malle, and this is by the perfumer Flipo. We're talking about Synthetic Jungle, which was released in 2021, and I think generally it was received positively in the community. And I think this is a very unique, intoxicating, a bit challenging, perhaps to many people, kind of scent. And I think also people have a take on the scent that can be a little misleading. Of course, based on the name and based on what people say, you might think that this is a really green fragrance. And of course, it has a lot of green elements. But to me, ultimately, this is a very heady floral fragrance. And it is classified as a Chypre with some unique twists. So it kind of is different from what you might, other green fragrances that you might have smelled that are more kind of bright, citrusy, sharp. This is a kind of really, it creates a very thick scent cloud, and that's what could be a bit challenging. And we'll get into the scent. This is not a kind of fragrance for if you're looking for something that's under the radar, really, like has a subtle scent cloud. You're definitely gonna be smelled, and of course you could go light on the sprays. But either way, this is a like most Frederic Malle fragrances, something that just takes one or two sprays, and it's a very rich scent, and you have to want to be announce yourself, and people are gonna say, well, okay, well, someone's definitely wearing a perfume, so this is a very perfume kind of smell. Now, the inspiration apparently was based on some kind of vintage Chanel Chypres, and maybe some other scents, but I haven't tried those, so I'm not gonna really get into that. Yeah, let me first list the notes. Just so we have some kind of reference. You've got basil, jasmine, hyacinth, ylang ylang, patchouli, and lily of the valley. And right there you notice, I mean, just a lot of florals, right? And definitely, this is, like I said, a very floral fragrance first and foremost. So, you can't really tell based on the note structure, but I think this is one of those scents that's really truly a blend. And what I mean by that is it's not really highlighting individual notes, but really creating an image based on the sum of the parts. And it does that really well. I think jungle is a jungle atmosphere is encapsulated pretty well here. To me, yeah, I mean, it's less of a jungle, more of just more earthy and vegetal, but a bit more subdued than kind of, like what I think of when I think of jungle. But either way, that's where you get the green and the earthy qualities that are in the word jungle, and also in this fragrance. I might start with maybe throwing out a few words that come to mind when I smell the scent, which is lush, right? That's probably the strongest word that really comes to mind. Floral, narcotic, rich, maybe carnal, intoxicating, and this has a lot of indolic qualities, and that's a term that you probably have heard of a lot. And just for people who are less familiar, an indole is a compound that's found, among other things, in many white flowers like jasmine, gardenia, tuberose, and that's what that compound is what gives these flowers that really dirty aspect and a really rich narcotic experience. And once you smell it, what I mean when I use those words. Basically, yeah, a lot of people associate indolic smells or indoles with fecal animalic quality, and that might seem very strange, but it really is there. There is overall, the indolic scents from jasmine that's in here, other florals. It is a very pleasant floral bouquet kind of a smell. And like I said, a really like cloudy thing that just kind of envelops you. But right from the start, there's this hint of something peeking through that's a little odd and maybe a little funky, more earthy, and it makes you think, well, what is that smell? And that's that fecal kind of animalic scent that gives the flowers a sensual smell. It is a really natural smell. At times, to me, it also has a really earthy vegetal quality on its own. Yeah, and of course there's patchouli here also kind of contributing to that scent. And like I was saying before, this is a chypre fragrance, but with some twists. And notably, there's blackcurrant here, and a lot of times in chypres you find you find a citrus top mixed with this mossy accord. And I think this is what gives this scent a different kind of quality. It's a bit smoother. It's not as sharp or old school smelling because it is fruity. It has a fruity tinge, but such a strong green floral accord, just right through the heart and base of the scent, that makes this a little different. And that's talking about really the opening and the mid, like several hours in. But the dry down, it does develop a little bit into something different to me. Let's talk about that green note for a second, because I could use all the words to try to describe this scent, but there's an easier way, because I was wearing this one day and I was cooking and I happened to cut up a green bell pepper, and this is exactly the smell that I was imagining and smelling when I was wearing this scent. Literally, right? If you have this scent, try this out. Cut a green pepper like this in half and smell this and the fragrance side by side. And if you haven't tried the fragrance, this is a good way to kind of guess whether you might like it or not. Smell it side by side. You'll be shocked at the kind of similarity in the smell that this gives off when it's cut in half and compared to the fragrance. So there's a very similar quality, which, yeah, depending on who you are, is either off-putting or intriguing and likable. So I'm gonna just spray it one more time just to experience it a little bit more. Wow, it just kind of like opens up your senses. That's how I would describe this scent. It does take you right outdoors into a lush environment. Yeah, what an experience. Now, the dry down, I was saying, was a little bit different, and that's because I get, I was starting to get a leather smell, and that's not surprising considering the type of fragrance this is and the overall accords. It's a chypre which often builds on notes like patchouli, labdanum. Here it's primarily patchouli, and it's a little bit of a pared down base, but I still get this this kind of, let me smell the dry down, this leathery dry down. It's dry. That's characteristic of chypre scents as well. And yeah, it really does smell to me like leather, even though the leather is not a officially listed note. But it doesn't mean that it loses its freshness. So you get that dusty, dry aspect, but still it retains the floral freshness. And the reason that I get more of that in the dry down is because the brighter notes, of course, kind of fade as time goes on. So anyway, really great scent. Now, I think I told you that this is not for someone who doesn't like chypre types of scents or mossy scents or green scents or predominantly floral fragrances. Also not for someone who wants to just have more of a restrained vibe. And lastly, if you're looking for a masculine smelling scent, this is not it, right? This is a floral, elegant perfume that is really artistic, expressive, but it's not like, you know, this. Yeah, it's not kind of a masculine scent. And the best way to kind of describe is, I was walking down the street the other day, and there were like two guys in front of me walking, and some women standing just outside a restaurant, and they passed and I passed, and I heard the woman saying behind me, "Oh my gosh, this guy smells so nice," right? And as I got closer to the men, you know, the smell was essentially your really ambroxan heavy designer fragrance. Yeah, maybe with a little, I couldn't recognize it right away, but it was that type of shower gel deodorant fresh scent that was a little, it was nice. So those are, this is the opposite of that kind of scent, right? This is, might appeal a little more to women, but it is totally wearable for both genders, and I enjoy personally wearing the scent as well because of the lushness. It really just wakes you up. It's invigorating. So you have to try it, and I'm debating. I actually bought the full bottle, but debating whether or not to keep it. I don't know how much I end up wearing it. So anyway, that's my take on Synthetic Jungle and Flipo. Let me know if you try the scent, and I'll see you in the next reviews. Bye.